Before we get into the video, I just wanted to say a quick thank you for 5,000 subscribers on the channel. It's genuinely mind-blowing, and I just wanted to thank you all for the continued support. Cheers, and here's to the road ahead. What's up, gamers? It's Above, back with another video, and today we'll be taking an in-depth look at the Corrective Measure. This is a 450 RPM void machine gun that can be acquired from the newly returned Vault of Glass. With most of the attention being focused on weapons like Fatebringer and Found Verdict, it has fallen criminally under the radar. The Corrective Measure really took me by surprise, and today I'll be covering why I believe it is by far the best machine gun in Destiny 2. The base stats of this weapon are fantastic, with best-in-class stability, handling, aim assist, mag size, and recoil direction when compared to the Commemoration and the Seventh Seraph Saw. The crazy part is that there will be an adept, or as they call it, time-lost version of this weapon that will provide an additional +2 to every stat and grant access to the Adept perk pool once the master version of VOG releases on July 6th. The Corrective Measure also has the lowest zoom of the three machine guns, making it easy to keep a wide field of view while clearing ads. This thing can roll some nasty perks in both PvE and PvP. However, I believe that this weapon will shine more in the PvE sandbox due to its exclusive perk pool and unique perk combinations. With all of that said, which perks are we looking for? The third column is loaded with top-tier perks. For PvP, Dynamic Sway Reduction is the best option as it provides accuracy and stability as you hold down the trigger. As for PvE, Surplus can be good, but in my opinion, this perk promotes bad habits. Holding on to your abilities in a game where abilities are such a crucial part of the PvE sandbox just isn't something I can recommend to you guys to make a gun feel usable. This leaves us with Demolitionist, Subsistence, Rewind Rounds, We-Wind Wounds, and Feeding Frenzy. All of these are solid perks, but Demolitionist and Subsistence are simply a cut above the rest. Rewind Rounds has a lot of potential as it refunds up to 50% of your magazine based on the shots landed on enemy targets. However, it's natural to miss a few bullets when spraying at mobs of ads, and if you missed your last bullet, it actually won't refund any ammo at all. On top of this, in any scenarios where you have Divinity applied to a target, Rewind Rounds will not proc. I imagine that this is a bug, but I would avoid this perk for now. It's not bad by any means, but you can definitely do better here. Feeding Frenzy is good, but perks that negate the need to reload altogether, such as Demolitionist and Subsistence, are far superior in my opinion. I think Subsistence will be better for on-level content as you quite literally never have to reload. But for high-end PvE content such as Grandmaster Nightfalls and Day 1 raids, Subsistence doesn't give you as much value as enemies take many more bullets to kill. It's still a top-tier perk, but I have to go with Demolitionist as my god-rolled perk here. Not only do you get grenade energy back on every kill, it also fully reloads the magazine every time you throw your grenade. This means you have dominant PvE utility like Dustfield grenades, detonators, the Warlock stasis turret, and Controverse nades up much more frequently. As you can see in the background, it takes just 6 to 8 kills to refund your grenade entirely, depending on your discipline stat. Demolitionist is a must in my opinion. As for the fourth column, Tap the Trigger will be the go-to PvP option as it increases stability and accuracy as you pull down the trigger. Pair this with Dynamic Sway Reduction and you quite literally have a laser beam for the entire magazine. As for PvE, I have my eyes set on 3 perks. The first is One for All. Tag 3 separate targets and get a 35% damage bonus for 10 seconds. This is a solid option as proccing this perk is relatively easy with spray-based weapons like machine guns. One for All is equivalent to having weapons of light for 10 seconds, meaning this perk will allow you to chew through ads with ease. Adrenaline Junkie is interesting because Corrective Measure is the only weapon in Destiny 2 that can roll both Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie on the same weapon. That opens up very unique playstyles that can definitely be viable in in-game PvE content. For example, throw a Controverse nade, kill 3 targets, and get a 35% damage bonus for 10 seconds. Since I didn't have this roll yet myself, I emulated what the gameplay loop would look like with Controverse nades and my Adrenaline Junkie Shayura's Wrath. As you clear ads with your damage bonus, you'll get grenade energy back from Demolitionist. It is definitely a playstyle you'll need to adapt to, but makes for interesting builds with exotics like Verity's Brow, Ashen Wake, Controverse Holds, and others, just to name a few. This leaves us with my god-rolled perk, Firefly. Corrective Measure is just one of 4 weapons in the entire game that can roll this perk. Not only is it a juiced up Dragonfly, which is incredibly strong for ad clear, it also gives you a reload bonus on precision kills. This makes Feeding Frenzy in column 3 even less desirable. An additional bonus of this perk, and it's a big one, is the fact that you can generate Warmind cells off of solar splash damage as long as you have the Wrath of Rasputin mod equipped. You won't be generating Warmind cells as often as you would with something like the Seventh Seraph Saw, but You will spawn a few throughout an activity like a Grandmaster Nightfall. And trust me when I tell you, Firefly on a machine gun is a must-have perk. TLDR, my personal god roll would be Demolitionist and Firefly. This combination of perks simply provides too much utility to pass up. It's rare that we get an ability regen and damage perk on the same weapon, and these are arguably the best ability regen and damage perks in the entire game. With Demolitionist, you get grenade ability regen and auto-loading when you throw your grenade. Firefly not only provides incredible ad clear, it gives you a reload bonus on precision kills as well. And don't forget that little bonus of spawning a nuclear Warmind cell off of solar splash damage. So the question is, will the corrective measure replace the other meta legendary machine guns that we have in the game right now? Those being the Commemoration and the Seventh Seraph Saw. Well, let's start with the Commemoration. Both the Corrective Measure and the Commemoration are 450 RPM void machine guns. In PvP, these are almost identical to one another. This weapon can roll dynamic sway and either Eye of the Storm or Under Pressure, while the Corrective Measure can roll dynamic sway and tap the trigger. These will both be laser beams in PvP, so it really comes down to personal preference on the sights that you like. I would give the edge to Commemoration on the sight, but would give the slight edge to Corrective Measure on the perks, as dynamic sway and tap the trigger just synergize too well to overlook. As for PvE, the Commemoration god roll is Reconstruction and either Rampage or Dragonfly. The Reconstruction is a god tier perk due to its passive reload and ability to overflow the magazine to double its capacity. Demolitionist and Subsistence can negate the need to reload altogether. I will admit that these perks are a bit of a toss-up, but I don't think it can be overlooked that Demolitionist also feeds ability energy while having auto-loading capabilities. Rampage, the best damage perk on the Commemoration, is solid for sure, but is definitely a shell of its former self due to past nerfs. Firefly outclasses Rampage and Dragonfly, and it's not even close. The ad clear Firefly provides on the Corrective Measure reminds me a lot of Thunderlord disguised in a legendary skin. In my opinion, Corrective Measure is the clear winner here. So what about the Seventh Seraph Saw? This 360 RPM machine gun has dominated endgame PvE loadouts due to its intrinsic ability to generate Warmind cells. That being said, the high impact archetype of the weapon itself is pretty lackluster in both PvE and PvP. So in terms of PvP, the Corrective Measure wins out easily here. The perk pool of the Seventh Seraph Saw is decent, with auto-loading being the perk of choice in column 3, and Vorpal, Firing Line, and Disruption Break all being solid options in column 4. This weapon will generate Warmind cells more consistently than the Corrective Measure, as all kills will count towards the spawn of a Warmind cell. With the Corrective Measure, only the solar splash damage kills from Firefly will count towards Warmind cell generation, meaning you can generate them just less often. I still think the Corrective Measure offers more as a weapon on its own, as 450 RPM machine guns outclass the high impact archetype of the Seventh Seraph Saw, and the perk pool is also significantly better. With the Warmind cell nerf slated for Season 15, I see almost no reason to run this weapon in the future over the Corrective Measure. To conclude, I believe the Corrective Measure is the best machine gun in Destiny 2. This weapon really surprised me, and I can tell you that it'll be a mainstay in my loadout moving forward. If you enjoyed the video, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. I also stream 5 days a week over my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/above, so feel free to swing on by and hang out with our fantastic community and get help farming weapons just like this. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!